Yo, welcome to another episode of Unpredictable Thoughts Podcast. Your man Trouble's in the building.
And your man Jones.
Yo, I want to give a shout out to everybody that listened to our last podcast, Unsung Heroes, Black Girl Magic.
Yeah, that was fire. The social workers.
Yeah, that was a very, very good podcast. I really enjoyed it myself. And for those that listen, just keep on pushing that information out there. Retweet it, share it. Do something, help us out, give us some type of reviews.
Yeah, because we don't know how good we're doing or how bad we're doing or whether you like it or you don't like it. We really want to try to get to a core audience that's following us constantly.
Yeah, exactly what Jones said. But this next podcast you're about to listen to, I ain't gonna lie, I'm redoing the intro. Like, because the intro I did before, I really didn't like it. And then, like, with the whole time lapse, because we're not in Black History Month anymore, so.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still always salute Black excellence, so it don't make a difference.
Yeah, and the thing that, I guess with me holding on to the podcast is really just like, you know, Black History Month is celebrated but not educated enough.
It's not even really celebrated. We get the coldest month out of the year in every state in the union except like Hawaii.
And the shortest month, too.
Right. You know, so they didn't give us Black History Month. They gave us the month they wanted us to have. Because if they really wanted us to have Black History, it would have been in July.
All the cookouts,
family reunions, all that stuff. We can get together and really celebrate. But now they almost force us to be inside churches or inside convention centers or inside halls somewhere doing this Black History stuff with away from the public eye.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I appreciate the fact that we have a Black History Month, but they could have done better.
I believe it shouldn't just be celebrated within a month. It should
all
be
year.
constantly celebrated regardless. Black
Excellence.
Excellence.
Yeah, you have a hard time with that word, but you're absolutely right. We should celebrate Black excellence all year long, and we are getting to that point where it's really with the internet and Twitter and all these other forms of media that is getting to that point where you seeing young Black men and young Black women and even other races. And I know we talk about Black history, but before we get off on a tangent and people say, oh, we talk about Black history, it's a lot of Black people that speak Spanish. It's a lot of Black people that ain't from here that still can get themselves in line with the struggle, because everybody that's Black in this world pretty much is still struggling. I hate to say it, but it ain't fair nowhere.
Yeah. So with this podcast, we interviewed a Montford Point Marine. That's history right there. I think his name was Mr. Jackson.
Yeah.
He's what, 88?
88 years old.
I had a pleasure interviewing him.
Yeah, I was tongue-tied like a mug. I ain't gonna lie. On that podcast, I'm probably as quiet as I've ever been. I ain't hardly say nothing.
Yeah, so it was a good time interviewing him. And I guess, you know, I learned something from him. I learned a lot from him. And then, you know, I'm pretty sure he learned a lot from me or whatnot.
Oh, definitely. He was definitely, I want to say he was amazed by the fact that you could record somebody and put it on the internet and that everybody else could hear it. He is truly not a technology person.
Yeah.
He know how to turn the TV on, turn the TV off, like use his cell phone a little bit and some other stuff, and that's it.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, I will apologize for if you hear him fading out. That is my disclaimer. If you hear him fading out, because what was so dope was he invited us to his house and he just had all this,
Memorabilia.
Memorabilia up, and he was just showing us stuff. So as he's talking, you could kind of hear him get excited. He's pointing at pictures and stuff, and he trying to get up and pick the picture up. But I'm like, no, you got to stay in front of the microphone.
Right.
And then his phone was going off for, you know, alarms and stuff. So, like I said, tune into the podcast. I hope you enjoy it and learn something about it. It's history. For those that don't know, or for those that haven't really, what's the word I'm looking for? Haven't realized it yet, but like podcast or like our generation right now is digital history.
Right. And if you don't know what a Montford Point Marine is, and if you're not in the Marine Corps, because a lot of people not in the Marine Corps, they're just in the military. And I'm not shitting on no other branch. I'm just saying that's a small part of the Marine Corps history that they like to try to hide. But they played a significant part in what made the Marine Corps as successful as it is now. Just like the Army had their Black soldiers, the Air Force had their Black airmen. Everybody had that time where African Americans came into their branch of service and did great things, but it's oftentimes hidden in the shadows. So do some research. And like I always say, if you don't believe me, Google it.
Google it. But yeah, tune into the podcast. Hope you enjoy it. Write a review. And there you go. We got a very, 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 very special guest, Mr. Jackson. He's a Montford Point Marine. What else did you do, Mr. Jackson?
Well, after being a Montford Point Marine, I took a early out and joined the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed in the Air Force 22 years.
So what exactly, for those that don't know, because I feel as though, especially being African-American, being in the Marine Corps, like I never knew what a Montford Point Marine was until like 2 to 3 years after joining. So what is a Montford Point Marine?
The Montford Point Marines, at one time, you couldn't find a black Marine. Those that were in did get a chance to get in there. They was called Montford Point Marines. They trying to desegregate the Marine Corps. Well, I'm sorry, but hold on.
No, you good.
Yeah, they did a good job, but they had to change the things that they was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So after they became integrated, everything became smooth.
Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure it wasn't smooth at first because, people were still stuck in their ways during that time frame. Like, as an organization, yeah, they were allowing people to come in, but the people part of that organization probably weren't too happy. Right?
Right, they were not happy. I did have the name of the individual who spearheaded the changing of the guard, but what it were, the blacks couldn't. They were Marines,
Mm-hmm.
but they couldn't be integrated. So this individual, he desegregated the Marine Corps.
Okay.
And after that, there was no problem for us to get in to join the Marine Corps.
Yeah. Mm.
It's kind of hard to go through. It's been so long since I been around.
Understandable.
We understand that, Mr. Jackson. Can I ask you a question as far as we all Marines in here? I'm retired. You're a sergeant.
Okay, good.
You were a Marine. So when you went to Montford Point to train, what were you as a young man expecting back?
Well, I can tell you the truth. I wanted to leave Albany. A certain individual I couldn't get along with, so I changed my date of birth, and I did get enlisted.
Okay, so you went a little early.
That's right.
Like, how old are we talking? Statute of limitations been over, so.
Yeah, they can't come back. They can't come back and get you. They're not gonna make you go back to
I
the
was
Marine Corps.
17 years old, but I told him I was 18, and I.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, wow. So back then you weren't able to join at 17?
No,
Not
you got to have
17.
parental consent now. So back then
Right.
you couldn't do it at all.
Oh, okay.
So I got that changed, and I maintained a good record. I stayed in the Marine Corps approximately a year and a half, and they came up with a early out because the war had ended. They had desegregated the Marine Corps, so I stayed in there about a year and a half, and I hadn't finished high school, so I came out of the Marine Corps, took a discharge, but I still was in the reserve.
Yeah.
Then after I graduated, me and 3 or 4 more guys, we say, let's go join the Air Force. So we did.
Around what's the year time frame of this?
Well, I went in
50s?
Gotta be 43.
1947
Okay.
and got out in 1948. And I joined the Marine Corps in 1949.
Okay. Now, my last question about the Marine Corps before we transition to the Air Force and stuff. I was told that back then for the Montford Point Marines, when y'all used to train at Camp Johnson or whatnot, that the recruits I guess the good recruits that just finished graduating boot camp, they would have to come back and retrain the recruits again.
No, I didn't know about that.
Okay.
Tell you the truth. Because after I did a year and a few months, I took the early out.
No, you took the early
like
out.
I said before, I wanted to get out so I can go finish high school.
So you finished high school, and then, like you said, you and your couple of friends said, like, "Hey, let's go to the Air Force."
Air Force, right.
Now, I'm a strong believer that, you know, even though you hit 18, you're not grown. But, you know, I believe that the military can be a stepping stone as far as, like, trying to figure out what you want to do and things of that nature. So how did you know, or, like, what was going through your mind to be like, okay, I got the Marine Corps, finished high school, I'm going to just go right back into of serving my country in a sense.
Right, that was going into the Air Force because
Yeah.
at one time I had a idea that I wanted to be a pilot. And after I had been in the Marine Corps a couple of years, I wanted to get out and go go to a college. What's the name of that college in Alabama where they learn how to fly?
Tuskegee.
Tuskegee.
Okay.
I wanted to go into Tuskegee, but I started thinking. I said, if I get out and I get flunked out of the school, then I done lost all this time in the military. So I stayed on in the military, and I did about 22 years in the Air Force.
Wow.
Okay, and while you were in the Air Force, what exactly was your job or responsibilities?
Well, I was mostly in the administrative field. I sat behind a desk for 20-some years.
Hey, I ain't mad at that.
Right, and I became a master sergeant.
Mm-hmm. What is that?
At E8.
E8, okay.
No, E7.
E7.
Yeah.
Or the Air Force different.
Yeah.
Well, back then it was different. They changed the ranks a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So I received a good promotion and everything, and I retired as an E7 master sergeant. And don't regret a day. I don't regret it. I'm glad I did. I would have stayed longer, but I had a sick mother.
Okay.
So I took her out, and after 1 year, she was deceased. So I started my own little job here in Albany, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
At one time, before I got out of the Air Force, I learned how to do income tax,
Oh.
and I was doing it for all the troops. But no, I didn't charge them anything. But when I retired, I opened up a business here in Albany, Georgia. I made a little money, and I think I was in that field about 7 years.
Okay.
So I got rid of it, and my daughter took over. So after I got out of the income tax business, I had a lawn business. And on down the road, I became, I got a job with the city. I was, I was out at the airport and, in security.
Okay.
And made my way up to a colonel, chief of security.
Oh, chief of security?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a full colonel, not a lieutenant colonel. I was a full colonel, and I stayed in there for about 7 years.
Police?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I'm looking at the picture now. Oh, like I was just thinking for like regular, like small airport security, but police chief
Yeah, police chief.
of Albany.
Yeah, in Albany, but I was out there at the airport.
Oh,
Yeah.
you were just out in that. I mean, I don't know how that stuff runs. So
Yeah, they got different divisions. So
that was
taking
different
care of
division.
that with other troops.
Okay.
Right.
So while you were in, like, where was the places that you've been
What here?
in the military?
In the military? Well, let me see. I was in Japan, Korea. Yes, I was in Korea. You can see what they're doing down there now. But I wish I'd have known you guys was coming. I could have researched, and because at a certain age, as I am now, I can't remember all that stuff in my head. I could have wrote it down. But
Yeah.
I was stationed to 4 or 5 different places.
Yeah,
I
I
was down
see a
at Eglin
Hawaii.
Huh?
I see a Hawaii placard on your wall.
Oh yeah, Hawaii. I wasn't in Hawaii.
Oh.
But I was in Korea and Eglin Air Force Base. There's quite a few bases, maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But memory don't. You sometime after you get a certain age, you just can't remember all that stuff. And I've been retired here over 30-some years.
Yeah. I don't remember what I did yesterday, so.
Yeah. And one thing that I like about the military, because of my children,
Okay, let's go further than that.
they followed in my footsteps.
How many kids did you have?
I had 3 boys and 3 girls.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye, baby. I'll give you a call. Yeah, 3 boys and 3 girls. And two of my kids, my oldest 2, the girl and the boy, they had the sickle cell disease, and both of them deceased. But the rest of them, you can see that board up there, the picture of all of them, starting at the top. Well, that's where I am as police chief in Air Force. Same thing there.
Yeah.
And second down was one of my sons, and that's his son right there.
Oh, next one?
Yeah, next
Oh,
one.
wow.
And the next one is my son, the oldest one that deceased.
Okay.
He was in the Army 1 year. No, not 1 year, 30 days, I believe. And the sickle cell came down on him, so they discharged him.
Oh, wow.
And I think he didn't live too long after he got the discharge. And the next one is my youngest son. He was in the Army for about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And on down below there is one of my daughters, the youngest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Next to her is her daughter.
Oh, wow.
She's a captain right now on active duty in the Air Force.
Oh.
The next one, she's a lieutenant colonel. She's on active duty. That's her mother,
Okay.
Brenda. She was in the Army.
Uh-huh.
My daughter over there, like I said, she was in the Army, and that's about the gist of it. They just followed in my footsteps.
Now, was that something that you pushed on them heavily, like join the military, get out of Albany?
They wanted to.
Oh.
And one bad thing about one of my grandsons, he was a West Point cadet,
Wow.
and him and a bunch of more cadets got in trouble with the females.
Mm.
He got discharged out of there.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He lost all that. He could have been right now full colonel, at least.
Yeah.
You know, those cadet guys, they really goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What other things besides, you said you was a police chief, you had a lawn business, you did taxes. What other things besides that? Like, what else endears you to Albany? Because you came back here and you've been here ever since. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, the last thing I did was that lawn business. I got rid of that.
Okay.
I didn't need it because I was getting a check from the city, run from the Air Force, and the Social Security.
You said enough with working, huh?
That's right.
Okay, I can respect that.
Right.
Do you think that being some of the first, when you were a Montford Point Marine, I'm going back to this because I just want to know, do you feel like you guys opened the door? Because the military was still segregated when you came in.
Right.
So do you feel like you guys kind of pushed that door open a little bit more and made it easier for everybody else to come on in behind you?
I wasn't the one who went in first.
Right, I understand that, sir, but I'm saying
well, that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Right.
We went in the Marine Corps to open the ranks for others.
Okay.
Well, I mean, at that point in time, were you just living in the moment, or did you kind of like understand the impact that you was going to have?
Well, I tell you the truth. Like I said before, I took early out because they was discharging people. You can get out if you wanted to because
just left
the
and
war
right.
was over, you know. So I decided, I said, look, I've been in here a little over a year, and I haven't finished high school. So I decided to take that early out.
Yeah, like, hey, it ain't for me.
Right.
No more.
And I took it out and came back here. I graduated from Monroe High.
Okay.
Monroe?
That's right. And I'll be at Monroe tomorrow night for a program.
Yeah. And very interesting. Very, very interesting. Hold on. Why do you think the legacy of like the Montford Point isn't a big celebration within the Marine Corps, especially during Black History Month?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you believe it is?
Well, you know, right now, if anything come off about Black history and the people out there at the Marine base know about it, they're going to call me. Anytime they have a function out there at the Marine base, I'm invited.
Yeah.
I'm an honored guest at anything that they have. Only thing is, this last one they forgot to call me and let me know. But I get invitation from the general and from the base commander, who's a full colonel. Anytime they have a function out there, I am invited.
Now, is it more Montford Point Marines here within all that?
No, there's some here, but they look like they stay in a shell. They don't want to be bothered.
Oh.
So I went to one guy's house, and he's up in age also, just like me, but he looked like he's a little older than me.
Mm-hmm.
But he just didn't want to. He was a Marine. But he didn't want to be associated with the Montford Point Marines. Like what's going on now.
Yeah.
Well, I got to say, I appreciate the fact that that you get out, first of all, because I've seen you at many things on the base, and I saw you at the ball last year.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you get out and you make yourself known as a Montford Point Marine and in this community where a lot of people don't even know that the branches of service are different. They think they're all the same.
Yeah, they
think all 4 branches of service are one branch of service. So I appreciate the fact that you do that. And when I was in North Carolina, a young PFC back in '95, I heard something about the Montford Point Association.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't hear anything about it at boot camp that summer before. Mm-hmm. Didn't hear anything about it when I was in the Marine Corps. I didn't hear about it until I bumped into a staff sergeant that happened to be black. Mm-hmm. He was saying, why don't you come out and join the association and, learn some history. At that point, I was so new to the Marine Corps and just trying to get my feet wet in what it was I was supposed to be doing. I kind of shunned it off, and I wish I hadn't, because I probably could have met a lot more Montford Point Marines in North, because it's a lot in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate the fact that you make yourself available to us and to other people so that we can continue this history and let the history be known to everybody, because it's a way that they write history books that leave out very important segments of history. And if we don't put it out there for everybody, people won't know. Mm-hmm. So I say thank you to you for that.
Right.
Yeah, we got to let the history flourish.
All right, they should. Right.
And just let it flourish as a whole.
Don't have nothing to do with it. Maybe they got kicked out or something. You never can tell.
Are these all disgruntled?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think the Air Force differs from the Marine Corps? You was only in the Marine Corps for a year and a half, I understand that. But how do you think the two different, back then, differ?
Well, just like I said, I went in the Air Force with the intention of trying to
be flying.
Be a pilot, after I had been in there for quite a while.
They didn't have pilots in the Marine Corps?
Yeah, they had pilots.
Oh.
You got to remember how segregated the Marine Corps still was.
They had a bunch of black pilots that was better than some of those white pilots, especially when the World War II was going on.
Yeah.
They was knocking them out of the air.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them was stationed right here in Albany because they had an air base right here.
Mm-hmm.
At the back gate?
Turnerfield.
Right? Yeah.
Over there
there used to be an air base right here in Albany.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you could find black pilots of them. After the war ended, they be here because one of them was a 4-star general, and a lot of them was colonels, and you name it.
Yeah,
they had it.
They was high in the ranks.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's where I saw that. In the movies, they had a movie made up about the not the Montford Point Marine, but the black pilots.
The Tuskegee Airmen?
Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember
and I
seeing
really
that movie.
wanted to be a pilot.
Oh.
But I changed my mind. I said, I better stay on here in the Air Force, because I get out of there, I might lose my rank and all of that. So, so that's the gist of it.
Okay.
That's very interesting. Very. Do I got any other questions?
For one thing, those two right here,
Yeah.
these are Montford Point Marines.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Give us some history.
Well, they the one who is some of the guys that they was the ones who really caught it. But a lot of them right now may be deceased because of the other wars that's since then.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy in the middle there, over there, he's a sergeant major. He was tough too.
Was that
Ashmark Johnson?
Yeah.
Ashmark Johnson. That's him
I was
there.
reading his bio yesterday.
That's him right in the middle.
His bio threw me off as far as the years of him picking up, but
You right down and says Montford Point Marine.
Yeah. How was boot camp back then, like during that time frame?
Yeah, man, they used to run them in the lake, out there, but they had to stop doing that because some of them got drowned. Yeah, they had to fix up where they would not run those troops into the lake.
What was the?
They had to stop that before I got in.
Oh,
Because I didn't go in the lake.
Yeah.
They had stopped it.
what was the purpose and behind that?
Trying to make men's out of those guys. Because they came right out of into basic training.
Yeah,
And they going to train them, and that's where they train them prior to that.
yeah.
But some of them got drowned, and so they had to discontinue it.
Yikes. So you think compared from now to back then, you think the Marines now are a little softer?
Oh, yeah, man. They having a ball now.
I mean, do you think that the Marines are softer now compared to back then?
Oh, yeah, they're softer now than they were back then. Because those back then was catching you know what.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But they have you around. You ever heard them duck walking and all that kind of stuff?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You get squat down, you got to go, man. While you squatted down.
What?
Yeah, they have you running in that lake in a minute. When they were, but they discontinued that because the too many guys were getting drowned.
A lot of hazing and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
right.
Interesting.
That right there recently is a citation that was given by a general officer here. I don't know where, I think he done retired now, but we got a citation.
Uh-huh.
And let me see again if I reach that.
Yeah, hold on.
Wait a minute, let me see. No, that's not one. Got some smaller ones right there. Actually, I had one over there. This here is a certificate of recognition. Is presented to Henry Lee Jackson. That's me. That was in recognition or something, a selfless service and sacrifice. The United States Marine Corps proudly honors the legacy of the Montford Point Marines from 1942 to 1949. Nearly 20,000 African American men joined the Marine Corps despite harsh contradiction between fighting for democracy overseas and the denial of civil rights at home. After completing arduous and segregated basic training at Montford Point Camp, North Carolina, these Marines served with distinction during some of World War II's most challenging struggles in the Pacific. Some made the sacrifice, others continued their service through Korea and Vietnam, and back home in the continued fight for civil rights. Montford Point veterans are legends in the rich history of the Marine Corps, choosing to put their lives on the line in service to the nation. They advanced the cause of civil rights and contributed to President Truman's decision to desegregate the armed forces in 1948. 60 years later, the 112th United States Congress awarded the Congressional Gold Medal as the highest expression of national appreciation to the Montford Point Marines for patriotism and distinguished achievement. Collectively, and all Montford Point Marines helped pave the way for the many men and women of all, I can't pronounce that name, but it says ETHNICITIES, and backgrounds who served in today's military. Semper Fidelis, and God bless the Montford Point Marine. Right there, hanging right there.
Yeah. The medal?
Yeah, that's the medal.
Oh, wow.
And I have some I made up look like a dollar bill. They're up there on that.
Your coin collection is
Yeah.
crazy. just looking at all this stuff is
Yeah.
coin collection, shot glasses. Did you wanted to meet your wife in the Air Force, correct?
Yeah.
Was she active duty?
No,
Was
she wasn't. She was a teenager.
Pause. What?
I ain't
That's
touching
her
that
right
one.
there.
Okay. I mean, it's different time. So
Yeah.
From Albany as well.
No, she's from California.
Oh, from California.
I was stationed out there in I met her, you know, and I don't know. She was a teenager. Heck, man, somebody introduced her to me and everything. We wind up getting, you know.
Yeah.
Got married. So we've been married over 60 years.
60
Congratulations
years.
on that.
Yeah.
60 years.
Wow.
Black love.
That black excellence.
Excellence.
Excellent.
There you
go.
I can't say that word.
Right on.
Mr. Jackson, let me ask you a question. When you was reading that citation, you talked about how the Montford Point Marines made a difference in desegregating the Marine Corps, continuing to fight in Korea, Vietnam, and onward. But you talk about the civil rights fight back at home. I know you've been to many different states and many different countries, but when you first came out of the Marine Corps and came back here to go to school, how segregated was Albany? I know it was segregated because it's the South, but how segregated was it? Was it still black water fountains and white water fountains? And
Right, it was still segregated, but because they try to hide it and all of that. But like when I was going to school here, there was no mixing at that time. I think they started mixing after I had graduated. Well, they had to because I didn't have about a year or so, a couple of years, I guess, to get my diploma. And after I got my diploma, I joined the Air Force, and then I went on in and took basic training and everything, and it didn't bother me because that's desegregated in the Marine Corps, so we didn't have no problem. But back home, still the same thing. You know, you can find it right now in a bunch of cities and states and so forth.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, as a military man, because you are a military man, you did 20. Once you do 20 years, you're a military man.
Oh yeah.
How'd that make you feel? I mean, you know, I know it was a different time, different era, and the world has changed a lot since then. But sometimes when you would come back home to see your family and still see the segregation, how did you feel knowing that in the military it was desegregated and you had a little bit more freedoms inside the military and less outside the military? How'd that make you feel?
Know, to tell you the truth, it didn't bother me. You know, I went and did what I had to do. If they segregated, they segregated. I know you couldn't go live here and you couldn't do this and that, but it didn't bother me.
Okay.
Right?
Wow.
So it don't bother me today.
Okay. I understand. I can understand your point of view.
Who are a little more better than they were at that time.
Correct.
Just like the Marine base right here now. You get that 2-star general over there and say, "Do you know Henry Jackson?" He know who I am because anytime they have a function over there, I get an invitation.
Correct.
The colonel, the base commander, anytime anything go on over there, I get an invitation. And all I got to say, yes, I will attend. And I get it. I had something over here. I don't know where it's at now, but like you got a vehicle. You're gonna have a. Let me find that. It's laying around right here.
Okay.
Like I said, the VIP. I got a VIP on. This is something that's gonna be next month.
Veterans breakfast? Is it
No.
the veterans breakfast? Oh no.
No, this here is the general's. One of the females that works there. She's fixing to retire with 30 years.
It's all major.
Yeah,
Oh.
Sergeant Major.
Also, I made your merch. Yeah.
And I get VIP reserve parking, reserve seating.
Oh.
And this is from a general.
Yeah.
And anytime the base commander have a function, I get an invitation. All I got to do is call and say, yeah, I'll be there. That's how important I am.
Yeah, you are.
Montford Point Marine.
Especially being so active.
Right.
Living history. Living history.
Living history. And I'm just so amazed because it's like probably like a couple years ago. Well, no, I guess when I was coming up, my great grandfather, he was in World War II. But I was so young, but like I wouldn't listen because the gap.
Right.
But now I guess, you know, me being older, me actually going through the military myself, I'm more fascinated on, you know, just talking about it.
Right.
Because, I mean, I didn't live in that time, but to hear stories on how stuff changed so much compared to back then to now. Like, I remember hearing a story, like when the military used to get paid, they would have to go to OPEC, to administration, and then, like, they used to keep their checks in the vault. And, hey, here's your check, sign off. But I'm like, now it's the direct deposit. So just hearing stuff like that, the comparison on how times has changed is so intriguing to me.
Right.
Interesting. So married for, you said 60? No.
64, about 64 years.
64.
64
She was a
years.
teenager, and I was around about 19 years old. Oh, she's asleep now. She's been sick for quite a while.
Okay.
The reason she's sitting like that.
So how, like, what was the key, what was the key of keeping it going? That black love of...
Well, every time I made a move, she went with me.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Korea, she went. I went to Guam, she went. Excuse me.
No problem.
I got to get that taken out of there. There's something about feeding her and all that.
Yeah.
I don't want that no more. My daughter went and put that thing in. I don't like it.
Oh, it's an alert. Yeah.
But anywhere I went, she went.
Mm-hmm.
And she, like I said, she was in Japan. She didn't go with me. No, I was in Korea. That's after I went overseas in Korea. And I came back.
North Korea, South Korea?
North Korea.
Okay.
Right, North Korea. But no, it wasn't.
No,
It's
South Korea.
South Korea.
South Korea.
South Korea.
South Korea.
That's where we were stationed, in South Korea.
Okay.
And that's when we, I don't know if she got pregnant before I left or after I got back. It had to be after I got back when I met her. But we got married and everything. We've been married ever since. And
Then from there, you just knew she was the one, or like...
what was that?
I said, when you met her and you was like, okay, I want to marry you.
No, let me see. I think I was stationed there. That's when she got pregnant. She could have been. Well, you know, so much time went by,
Yeah,
man.
understandable.
I don't know whether she was pregnant while I went to, but I know she went to Japan with me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we had 2 children then, I think. No, 3. The oldest 2, and that girl down there,
Yeah.
and the other one down on the other end. She was a baby. She was born over there.
Okay.
Valerie. She was born over there. And that's about it. I just can't remember all that stuff. You know?
Yeah. But just the fact that, like, y'all been married for so long, just like, especially because I guess with my generation, like, dang, sometimes you don't even keep the same person in your life for 64 days.
I know it, right?
And then the fact that you were married for 64 years.
But I always had it in the back of my head, if I got married, I'll take this back. She wasn't the first one I married now. I married one in high school.
What? Okay.
We both was in high school.
Mr. Jackson had a little bit of play in him. A little bit of a player.
Mother was down in Florida.
Uh-huh.
Mother found out about it, and she had her to get well, it wasn't no divorce. It was that other.
An annulment.
Yeah, no, yeah. So that happened.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden here, she moved back to Florida. And about 4 years ago, she was in the Air Force, too.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that. And then when she got out of the Air Force, she went back home and became a school teacher. But 4 or 5 years ago, she died for some reason. I don't know. They wanted me to come to the funeral, but I just couldn't go because I had these businesses and different things.
Yeah.
And
You could get married in high school back then? I said you could get married in high school back then?
Nobody knew about it. Nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
Different times, man.
Yeah.
And then after that, I had another girl I was dating. She had finished high school and she was going to Tuskegee.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
That's where she finished school there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we had gotten married. We sneaked and got married, and she was still in school. And after she got her diploma and everything from college, she put in for a divorce. I guess she wanted that check. You know, she was getting that check. You know. And I haven't seen her since because when I was working at the airport, she used to come to fly through there, you know.
Yeah.
And she'll speak and everything, but I don't know. She's in Atlanta now, I believe. I haven't seen her in God knows when.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried about seeing her because I had my wife here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
That's right.
That's all that matters.
She ain't never gave me no kind of problem. You know. So we've been married, like I said, 64 years.
What do you think the key to your marriage for lasting so long? I'm 27. So that's like my next step in life. You know, I'm stable in my career. You know, making some money. I'm in school, about to graduate soon. So if I was looking for that one, what would be the key?
Well, I didn't want her to, you know, after we got married, I didn't want her working or do anything because she had those kids. That was her job right there, taking care of those kids. So since we was married, she ain't never had to work.
Yeah.
Because I made enough money to take care of the family and everything. So and she was okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after they all got grown, a lot of them left home and everything, got their own children and places. I got them 2 boys right now. What are living? One lives in Texas. The youngest boy, he's and the other boy, he's somewhere. I forgot where he is. I call him up every so often, but somewhere close to Texas. And both of them are married and got children.
Yeah.
Right there, next to the boy, right there.
Okay. Yeah, he's been overseas.
They love getting them. They're not white. They those Orientals.
Oh, the Asians.
Yeah. He got 2 boys, and David got a whole bunch of them. I got them pictures. See them pictures back there on that wall?
Yeah.
I got about all of them pictures back there. I got a lot of grandchildren, man.
Whoa.
Grand and great grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So for you staying in Albany, like, do you think do you think Albany has changed?
Yeah, man, Albany done changed. There's a lot of different things here now. I mean, look, we got that big base out there. People got a way to get a job and all of that. And it's just not like it used to be.
I hear that. So, I mean, I'm from Baltimore. I'm from up north. So explain, give me the time frame and describe when they say it's not like it used to be. Because I hear Albany is called the good city life, right?
Good life city.
Good life city.
Well, they was like anybody else. They were getting jobs.
What year was it?
Oh, I don't remember.
90s? Okay, never mind.
They were getting jobs out there at the Marine base, all these other factories and different things. They could take care of their families, you know.
Okay.
That's why things had changed, and they got along with white people just like, you know.
Yeah.
They supervise it and over white and different things. Nothing new now. Everything's okay. But going way back, I don't keep up with that kind of stuff. As long as I had a job. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just I'm just so appalled right now. Like just by talking to you about all this stuff. The floods in '94. Was it 94, 95? You were probably gone.
No, I was here.
Oh, you were here? My
retired
math.
My math way off.
That flood didn't get me because I was right here.
How long have you been in this?
And I've been here over 30-some years.
What?
Yeah, right here. I used to live over in East Albany when I first got out of service.
Oh,
but
the
I didn't
east
like
side.
East Albany.
Was East Albany the same then how it is now?
Well, no, it's not the same. It's different now.
Okay.
Yeah. But I came over here and looked around and bought this house. And tell you the truth, I ain't through paying for it.
Oh, wow.
But I should have done, baby, because, you know, switching up and refinancing, that ain't nothing but a scam. Because I should have got paid up 10 years ago.
Wow.
Well, with them jokers, they slick, man. But I got news for them here in a few more months. I can't talk about it. But,
Yeah.
I'm going to have
some stuff taken care of.
You're gonna take care of it. You're gonna take care of it.
I'm gonna pay everything off.
Hey.
The Cadillac got there, I'm gonna pay it off.
Oh, financial freedom within the black community.
Yeah, man.
That is real huge. That is real huge. You got anything, John?
I just want to say thank you for giving us this time. I mean, I'm almost, and I'm never this quiet, but
Yeah,
I'm
he's
almost,
not. I'm kind of mad right now.
I'm almost speechless, but this was more of an opportunity to be one-on-one. But this is what he's been beating the drum about this interview for about 6 months.
Sure enough.
Trying to get with Mr. Jackson.
Who do y'all went through to find out about me?
We met at the ceremony for the ball. What is it? When they dress up in different costumes? You know I'm bad with
the
this.
pageant.
The pageant. We met at the pageant or whatnot, and we talked for a little bit, and then that's when me and you took a picture, and then oops. Oh, we took a picture, and then that's when you gave me your card or whatnot, and I was like, I really fascinated, because the real fascination was when he was like, I joined the Marine Corps, did 2 years, got out, finished high school,
And then joined the Air Force.
Because I'm like, well, I'm always intrigued on why people make certain decisions, and were you able to foresee that the end game of it? Because when I was like 12. When I was 12 and my uncle, he joined the Navy, I said, I'm going to join the military. And then by the time I hit 16, 17, I said, I'm going to retire.
You did 20?
No, huh?
How many years you stayed in?
No, I'm only at 9 right now, but that's my goal right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to do 20. And then I'm like, well, hey, if I could time it out right, then I do 20 in the military, 38, and then do another 10 federal somewhere. I'll be at 48. But, things going to change. But just talking to you, and you were able to kind of foresee that. I just always find it intriguing. I don't know.
But you know what? A lot of young guys, they should consider the military, because you don't have to go to war. I mean, a lot of people get killed right here, man. So
Yeah.
You can take anything you want to do, Shoot, hey, man, it didn't bother me. And when I went to Korea, I wasn't afraid over there.
Yeah. You wasn't afraid at all? Like, just, you knew what you signed up for?
Women they call this guy some kind of joker was flying around at night trying to drop bombs on us,
Yeah.
Some American pilot went over and shot us behind down. We didn't have no more trouble with him. But otherwise, we'd be jumping out of our bunk, running out, going in foxhole. I got tired of that crap. A lot of us get up under the bed.
Hey, forget procedures,
man.
Forget proper protocol.
Yeah, man, I got tired of jumping in that foxhole, especially in the wintertime.
Cold in Korea in the wintertime.
I don't know what it is. Cold here. So, but we never did get caught.
Yeah.
I can tell you one thing. That first month I went to Korea.
Yeah.
Man, went out that doggone back gate. That first time standing out there waiting on them jokers who've been out there running them girls. Say, catch you again, we gonna send you home, or somebody had told us. Boy, but we had them all over there. I was singing then, man. I was a young man. I was thinking
He wasn't shy, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Mr. Jackson wasn't shy.
Not at all.
Yeah. And, when I was there, it was only 2 military, me and a captain, was running that base. The rest of them were civilians.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Same way when I went to Korea. I was the only doggone airman there because I was working in post office. The rest of them was civilian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had a captain or a major or somebody running the thing. So I enjoyed the military, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of my kids and grandkids right down there. They them 2 right there in the big frame there. The one on the left there, she's the one who's a lieutenant colonel. She finished college, and that one right there, she finished college. She's a captain in the Air Force. Yeah.
This is a lot of history right now,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm glad that you're actually telling it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
not like someone interview you, pen to paper, and then they write in their thoughts, and then like, oh, well, this is Mrs. Jackson's. You're talking it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to Monroe tomorrow evening. You know, I got to have a thing to set these on and everything, and take all my pictures and things so they can see what military looks like.
Yeah. My last question
Go ahead.
would be, if you could do it all again, would you change anything?
I wouldn't change nothing because I really enjoyed the military. If I was young enough, I'd join up right now. I'm not kidding, man.
Yeah.
And I've been a person who I just don't get shook up too quick.
Yeah.
And I can work with white, black, green, whatever color they are. It don't make me no difference. And I work with a lot of people, and they treat me just like I was them, because right now, at one time, they were saying yes, sir, and no, sir, to me.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So I don't regret anything that I've done in my lifetime, tell you the truth.
Well, there we have it. I mean, Jones, you got anything? You're
I'm
real
good today,
quiet.
Man. I'm quiet today. I'm good. I'll let you handle this one.
Oh,
It's all on you.
All right.
I'm here
Real
for support.
quiet. Well, I'm gonna close this out. I want to say thank you, Mr. Jackson, once again, of letting me interview you. This is a podcast. It's called Unpredictable Thoughts Podcast, and like I was saying off air, is like I just want to get dope material from veterans, past, present, future, or whatnot, and just to hear your story alone will probably inspire me. But I'm pretty sure that it will probably inspire many loads of people.
One thing that happened today, when y'all came up here first time,
Yeah.
I was going to a meeting.
Yeah.
It was Afro Sergeant Association,
Oh.
and I was there. And at the end, we always have get a little bag and put $1 in there, you know, shake it up. I put my name down there, Henry. Just said Henry, yeah. They shook that thing up. I was the last one to put the $1 in there, but they shook it up. And went out there, somebody pulled my name. We didn't have that much money. We usually have quite a bit, but I got $7 out of there. And I didn't put but $1 in.
Hey, I'll take that come up all
and
day.
I was the only black in there.
Uh-huh.
And the rest of them white, females and males, because a lot of people, they are females that have been service, either their husband been in. But it's a nice organization, but I hadn't been because of my wife been sick.
Yeah.
But that lady that left out of here, she comes in around about 11 o'clock and see what time she left. So she cleans up and everything, wash and, you know, take care of my wife. And then when I had to go to there, she took care of her while I was gone.
Yeah.
Right. That's how when you guys came up, I was on my way because it's supposed to have been there around about 1 o'clock, and it's about 1 o'clock when you, 1:15. So I got on there and everything. They had our meeting, and they fixed lunch for you, and then women bring food, you know. Yeah. And they were glad to see me. And they jumping up, them white women, they just grabbed me, kissing on me, and all that kind of stuff. Because before I even went in the building, this lady was over there taking stuff out of the back of her car. Her husband was sick. And I went up there to help her. Before she just grabbed me and just kissed me all on the cheek and all that. And I got 2 items she had there and took it on the inside. They crazy about me, man.
Oh. Oh, they love some Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, but
your name ring bells.
Yeah, people treat me just like I was one of them.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I used to be
any
there.
words of advice? I know I was supposed to close it out like 5 minutes ago. Any words of advice?
Huh?
Any words of advice?
I don't know. Somebody gave me some advice. I forgot what it was. Yeah, I'm telling you the truth, man. I just had a good life.
Can you speak into the mic a little bit? The mic?
I thought you had cut it off.
No.
Yeah, I've had a good life.
Okay.
I haven't worried about no money or nothing because I always had money and everything, and I always had a job.
Yeah.
Had my own business. I done had, 2 businesses. The income tax business and the lawn business. And then I had a job at the post office, too. I used to clean the post office while I was cutting grass. I go back there at night or in the evening, clean the post office. And in the early times, I go over there when I got to cut the grass. I go there around about 2 o'clock or something like that, and go there early in the morning to clean it up. Man, I made a lot of money, spent a lot of money, broke as I don't know what right now.
All right, I'm gonna close it out.
Okay.
I'm gonna close it out on that note.
Man.
All right. Like I said, thank you, Mr. Jackson,
You're quite
for
welcome. I'm
taking
glad
this interview.
Yeah, I'm glad got a chance to do this for you, because a lot of times people don't get a chance to do things like this. Get
Exactly.
programs.
Something different. And if you know any other, hold on.
If ain't never.
And if you know any other veterans that have a story and would like to talk, hey, let us know. And
Will you leave your phone number, name and phone number, so I know who you are?
yeah, I got it.
We could do that.
Yeah, we could do that. But thank you for listening to another episode of Unpredictable Thoughts Podcast. Your boy Troubles.
And your man Jones, the silent one.
Peace.
Y'all was real quiet today.